Okay, welcome. So in this video, what I'm going to be doing is showing how to install Windows XP in Qemu, and this is using a later version of Qemu as well. So this is a command line that I'm going to be using, and so here this is the XP that you're going to use. This is a Service Pack 3 one, and I've also, in order to get the Virtio drivers on, which I'm going to be using, I have to use this floppy image. And the way you get hold of that is if you just do a search just for Windows Virtio, and so Windows Virtio drivers, and then so you select this one, which is at linux-kvm.org, and so when you go in there, you then have to select where it says latest Virtio drivers, and then once on the next page you have to go to this readme. And in the readme, the one you want to select is where it says so go to where it says the full archive, and once in there, go into stable Virtio. And this is the image you want to use is this Virtio Win x86 VFD, and so that's the name of that. So it's Virtio Win, it's got the version number x86 then VFD, and it's formatted as a floppy drive. Right, so I'm just going to run that. Oh, actually, the other thing I've got to do is I have to make the we need to make the disk. So this hard disk, I've turned on lazy ref counts and increased the cluster size, and then put pre-allocation is metadata, and what that does is that helps to just speed things up. So that's the disk. So now if you run that, then I have to press escape to get the menu, because as you see the DVD is the fourth device, so it's not going to boot unless you have the menu on. So boot into that. Then you have to press F6 when it says here, because if you don't, it'll go straight into the installation and you won't have any hard disks. So I press S and then choose the XP 32-bit Virtio. Then press return, and so now we're just going to be going into the installation. Right, so when I start, just press enter. So you see, this is still the Windows NT installer. It's not the new Vista one. So this is the same as if you're installing Windows NT 4. So just format, and the formatting is pretty quick because of everything set up for speed and not data integrity. Okay, so that's formatted, and so now it's just going to install the setup files. Okay, that's finished. I press return. So you don't need the boot menu now because the hard disk is the first option. Right, so now we're into the XP installation. Right, so you always have to say yes here so that the drivers get installed. Right, so this is the Virtio controller. You definitely need that, because if you don't click yes there, then you just get a blue screen when you reboot. Okay, so now we're just going to do the language part. And the easiest thing is just to use the keyboard here, because it's a lot quicker than trying to do it with the mouse. And you apply after each one, because if you don't apply there, then the keyboard, it won't let you remove the... Yeah, so apply again. So now we can remove any keyboard you don't want. And the thing is, yeah, see, it applied there, but if you didn't click apply before, then you get an error, a message saying that you can't actually remove it. So if you just make sure you click the apply, it allows you to remove it. So just change this as well using the keyboard. And so when you're just ready for the next part. Right, so now when it comes to the key, obviously the keys are all over the place. So I find the easiest one is just do a search for, let's see, yeah, just do just XP key guitar, and then just choose this. I think it's this one, the FUWN one. No, actually, yeah, wrong one. So choose this next one, which is the Dennis shoe, however you pronounce that, it must be German. And the key that we're going to use, because you can try all these other ones, and most of them you probably find won't work. But I found this one worked. So let's try that. Okay, so that's worked, because you don't want to know how many times I tried all these other keys and you just get an error saying the C key is not valid. So it actually took me a while to actually find out that was one that actually worked. And of course, if anyone watches this, I might end up getting loads of comments saying, oh, does this work with phone activation? The answer is no. Because the reason I'm doing this is just because I needed to use XP for like 10 minutes in order to export some data. So that's all you should really be using stuff like this for. But trying to run something for your business or something with XP, that's just, well, it's stupid. So you should never be wanting to install XP for some serious thing. It should always, or sort of serious use, I should say. It should be just so you can quickly run an old program which doesn't work properly on Windows 10, even with compatibility mode. And then once you run that program, got the data off that you want, then you can just, that's it. You're not going to be using XP anymore. So that's the only reason why I actually use it, is just for those like quick reasons. But of course, you don't want to buy a copy of XP just to do a quick data copy that's going to take you 10 minutes. Since XP gives you 30 days anyway, which is more than enough to do any simple thing that you have to do. And as you can see with this installation, it's obviously going a lot quicker than XP is expecting. Because you notice it tells you the amount of time, and then every time the bar gets to the end, the time jumps down a huge amount. Because it's actually completing a lot quicker. So obviously Microsoft knows, running on normal hardware, that obviously XP will have all these delays, or they expect the hardware to be delayed in such a way so that it'll take this long to install. But of course, with the Virtio, all that hardware is out of the way now. So you actually get a quicker installation now than you would on real hardware. Okay, so that installation is finished. Now it's rebooting. So now it's booting into Windows. And here's another thing that can happen. If you choose the wrong CD key, it can let you get past the first bit. But here, you get the please wait. Yeah. And so you just got to do this part. And once I click OK, if you get a message saying you need to activate, that means you've chosen a key which is no good, even though it allowed you to enter it. If you click OK, and you get this animation, that means you've made it. Because there are certain... There are certain keys. Yes, that's just playing the annoying music. Right, so... Yeah, so once you made it to here, that means whatever key you've chosen, it's a good one to give you your 30 days before activation. And so that's... Well, you think that was it for now, but then the next problem we have is that we don't have any networking. Because if we go... Just go to Device Manager. Where is it? I keep forgetting that this is different in the old one. Yes, we've got no Ethernet controller. And you see the reason why is because it's actually an E1000. And of course XP doesn't really know what an E1000 is. So the way to actually get that onto... So of course we can't go on the network, on the internet here. And I found the easiest way to do it is to get hold of the drivers. And this is going to be a bit complicated. So if you do a search and search for this Pro 2K, I think it's XP, something like that. Pro 2K. Yeah, I think, yeah, it's this one, right. So you want Pro 2K3 XP32 EXE. And just make sure to go to the, let's help jet, so don't worry about them. It's funny, it used to be an Intel one, for some reason it's not. Alright, okay, for these, I'm sure there was an Intel site. Yeah, because what you want to do is you want to avoid going to any ones which are, yeah, so I think the TechSpot one, we could try the Asus one just in case. Because I'm usually trying to avoid any of these ones, driver this, driver that, because they're all they are is just adverts. So if you go to TechSpot, yes, you want the Pro 2K3 XP32. And so that's the driver. For Windows XP. So we just save that. And I suppose while we're at it, might as well get the Firefox as well. So if you just go to, well, actually just go to ftp.org. and you'll see what I'm gonna. What is the last one which works on XP is the 52.9. So they kept XP support up for quite long. For quite a while. So you want Win32. And so, well, I just want it English. And so just download that. Right, so now what we have to do is we have to get these files onto the XP without any networking. And the way that we do that is, so first thing we have to do is you have to shut down. Right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a file for use with the XP. So first thing, you just create a blank file. So I'm going to use DD to do that. Okay, so this is going to create an empty file. Right, and so now we just have to run that inside XP. Right, so just going to include the sound as well. Right, so what this just adds another drive, and it's just a file of zeros. So if I run that, and you see what I find. Yeah, so now it's going to ask yeah, so this is related to because that new blank drive you've added is using the Virtio driver, so it has to install a driver for it. Let me just continue on that. So that will make the drive actually appear. But what you find, of course, is because it's empty, it doesn't appear in here. So what we have to do is go into the computer, right click on it, and then go to manage. When we click on disk management, you should get in Windows 7 and 10 you get like a message saying to format, but this one's a bit more complicated because where it says unallocated, if you right click on that, all you get is properties. So you have to know that you have to instead right click on this part and go to initialize disk because it's blank. And so now it's online, and so now when you right click on this, you can do new partition. And just do primary, it's just 2 gigs. You don't have to care about quick format because everything's so fast. Right, so that's done. So now what that's done is that's created a disk, and it's best to get XP to do this because sometimes if you try and format it yourself, XP will disagree with the format you put on it. But if you get XP to format it, then of course it can't disagree with its own format. So we now have to shut down, and so now I just have to put that temp disk, just connect it up as a loop device. So if we do minus capital P dash F to find a loop device, and it's just temp disk. So I'm going to do that. Now there should be a loop. What I should find, there should be a loop. Should have used loop 0, but we can find out where it's connected to. Just do a list. And so you got temp disk and it's on dev loop 0. So if you do mount 0, but we have to do P1 because it's created a partition. And then we just mount it somewhere. Oh yeah, that's a problem. It's NTFS, isn't it? So I should have selected FAT32, but just to save time, let's just use NTFS. It's going to complain. No, it didn't. Right, so that's mounted at CD-ROM. So if we copy those two files into where we've mounted the disk. So if we do, you can see these two files are there. So there's the Pro2K and the Firefox, and there's another file I had on there as well. So if we unmount that, and then what we can do, then we have to just remove the loop device. Right, so now if we just run XP again, I forgot also it's a bit small, so just change the screen a bit bigger since I'm recording this at 192. Okay, so now if we go into computer, so the 2 gig disk, so we got our Firefox and the Pro2K, so we just get them out of there. So now if you run the Pro2K, so that's that. So now, if we install Firefox, let's get rid of that maintenance. As you can see, everything's really quick. So that's the thing about using these unsafe settings. And so now that we have the internet, the last thing you probably want to do with on your version of XP, even though you're just going to be using it for a short while, is to just install something called Windows XP in Service Pack 4. So just agree to the Spy Google. Now here's the important thing, is when you scroll down, there'll be lots, oh, well actually interesting, it comes up straight away. So what you should do, all the other ones just ignore, because the only one you care about is this Major Geeks one, because this is the one I use. And usually the stuff they have on there is pretty safe from what I've seen, well, with what I've experienced anyway. So, and as you can see, it's like about a gig, so it's going to take a while to download. And, yeah, of course, Mozilla wants to spy on you, so just turn that off. Because everyone wants to spy nowadays. And so if you just choose to download it at Major Geeks, and then you just ignore it. All this stuff pops up, just ignore it, and then you get the option to save the file. As you can see, it's quite a big file, so it'll take a while to download. But I suppose since it didn't take too long to get this far, so what I'll do is I'll just come back once this is finished. Oh, actually, I was just going to say, just get rid of all these adverts. Yeah, that's better. So what I'm going to do is just going to wait for this to download, and then once it's finished, then we'll just see if it installs, and that's pretty much all you need. And the other thing, you might, well, you don't really want other people to use this, so the only reason for this Service Pack 4 is for just in case you want to run some later program. Okay, so that Service Pack 4 unofficial is finished downloading. So now if we just go to where it's downloaded, so let's just run it and see what happens. Of course, it's an unknown publisher because no one can afford the money when you're just doing something for free. Yeah, Service Pack 4, so let's get this running. As an archive, since we're on a super fast drive, so it won't take that long. Okay, so that's the backup and restore point done. So now it's just installing. And of course, if you're going to try this on real hardware, you have to prepare yourself to wait a long time. But this is one good thing about virtual machines, is the way that you can bypass all of the hardware and get like a super speed up. So things like this installation can happen in record time. And actually, I don't even mind watching this because it's going by so quickly that you don't even have to really wait that long for this process to finish, which would normally have taken ages on a real computer. See, I mean, it's got to finishing already. Remember, the file was like almost a gig. And the other thing is we are running as a single process as well. So one core basically has to do everything, all the disk I/O and any processing, that any programs I have to run as well. They all have to run on the one core. And it's not doing too bad considering. That's it. So that's it. So Service Pack 4 installed that quickly. So if you finish, it's just going to restart. So not now, because the updates aren't going to work anyway. Right, so that's it. So that's and of course if we go to still says Service Pack 3 obviously, because that was an unofficial Service Pack 4. As you see, it just says it doesn't tell you how many. Because actually, I don't even know if this Task Manager, if it supports multiple. Well, I suppose it does, because NT was multi-process. Yeah, I think it does. Looks like something's hammering the CPU. Something called MS Course. Is it Volkswagen? I don't know. That's another reason for not using Windows, because there's all these mystery processes that just slow down your machine for no reason. And so that's it. So yeah, so we've got everything here. So we've got our Cirrus Logic, the Virtio 2 discs, and obviously just an IDE controller. I think it does support yeah, obviously it is a multiprocessor kernel. So actually let me just quickly try that. Let's see if it breaks. I know XP is multiprocessor. Let's try 2 cores and see what happens. Actually, let's try 4. Hopefully XP is not going to crash just because we suddenly added 3 CPUs. So it does find them, okay. So we've got to restart, get our extra processes, isn't it? There's a multi-processor. Yeah, so you can. So XP is I think NT4s as well. I just couldn't remember because it's been so long since you used the NT4. So I think it might be NT3.5, but I think that might be multi-processor. I just can't remember any. But obviously Windows 95 and 98, they won't be multi-processor. Only the NT kernel is a multi-processor one. Alright, so that's that. So that's just a quick run through of how to install Windows XP and then to add the drivers, network drivers to it. So you can use it to sort of do whatever you need to do with any old software you might have.